welcome to episode 37 of Let's Talk Money with Wendy Selini. Well, we are starting a new series where I'm going to be talking to women about leadership, about money, and just financial stewardship. In today's episode, I'm super excited because I've got someone that I've been wanting to interview for a long time. And really, she needs no introduction. Her name is Rami Chuene, who is a well-known South African. Welcome, Rami.
Thank you
to
so
the
much,
podcast. Yeah, it's such a pleasure to have you with me. So normally I'll ask my guests to introduce themselves and share as much or as little as what they like.
But you said I don't need no introduction.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to introduce, this is Rami. I want you to introduce
Okay.
yourself. Yeah.
Well, I'm Rami Chuene,
Mm.
and I was born in Seshego, in Limpopo, and yeah, I'm a mother,
Mhm.
I'm a grandmother,
Mhm.
and I'm a hard worker.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm in the entertainment industry. I act, I've got a band, and I'm an author as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right. Maybe let's start by talking about your book as an author. Maybe let's share what your book is about, and then tell us as well where people can get your book.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, my book, We Kissed the Sun and Embraced the Moon.
Mm-hmm.
There you have it.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually 10 years old, so
Wow.
we're celebrating 10 years of We Kissed.
Mm.
That's the hashtag.
Yeah.
10 years of We
Hashtag
Kissed.
we kissed.
Yeah. It is a memoir.
Mm-hmm.
My stories, short stories.
Mm.
A couple of interesting things about this book. You know, when I was writing this book, I thought, I knew a lot of people had experienced what I experienced, but I didn't expect such an influx of people
Yeah.
to say that they could have easily written this book as well, because I sound like them or they sound like me.
Yeah.
You know, they resonate so much with the stories.
Mm.
And another interesting thing about the book is that even though it's short stories, you can read it out of sequence. You can pick and choose whichever story you want to start with.
Okay.
They are not necessarily married to each other,
Right.
even though the story makes sense together.
Right.
So, and I think I find that interesting. It is really, really funny.
Mm.
Apparently, I'm a comedian.
Yeah. It's why I'm a comedian. I find that when I teach or when I talk, people
Yeah.
what do I say?
I'm just saying, no, I'm not a comedian. I'm just funny.
Yes.
Because being a comedian, doing stand-up, that is a very difficult
I'm
job.
not a comedian, but I think I'm just as funny as what
Yeah.
you are. But then I have a copy of your book.
Yes.
I bought it years ago.
Yeah.
So when you walked in here, Kibona, a different cover.
Yes.
I wanted to know what inspired the change. Maybe just share why.
I think what inspired the change is we needed a re-edit. Okay, also, not just a re-edit or a reprint, but because, the book sold really well.
Okay.
And I thought, you know what, maybe, in fact, one of my friends said, and I think it was when a lot of people were releasing their books with their faces. And it looked nice. It didn't look like, it's only preachers and motivational speakers that like their faces on their books. And and I didn't want that because, there's that very strict pose that they do. They're folding their arms and they look like they want to strangle you. And I'm like, no. I want a more friendly face, which is why it is cut like that.
Okay.
I'm lopsided sideways. And I wanted it to be friendly. And someone said now that we also have an international market, people would want to know the face to the name,
True.
And I do want to put an a picture at the back.
Yeah, I'm at the back of my book.
You see?
So
that's a beautiful picture.
Yeah.
Love it.
Okay.
So I thought, let's just put it in the front.
Okay.
And that's what inspired the second edit of the book. But the book hasn't changed much.
Yeah.
Maybe just a few credits there. updating of websites, this and that. But if you have the first copy, you still have the right.
Okay, so if someone wants to get hold of the book,
oh yeah, you can get the book on Hula Buka. There's a company called Hula Buka. They distribute as well. The distributors. Then you can also get it on SA Books Online.
Okay.
And there's also an e-book, so you don't necessarily have to buy a hard copy. So you can actually log on SA Books Online, and you can find an e-book. And an audiobook is loading. We're busy with that in celebration of the 10 years. So we're having another different edition of the book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So I hope you could where you can get the book. I would recommend that you get the book. I read it. I think I need to read it again.
Please, you
now
have
that
to.
It's got a new face and everything. Okay, so Rami, let's talk about, just getting into the interview, let's talk about your first encounter where you heard about money as a child.
As a child?
Okay. What was the encounter, or what are some of the manuscripts that you have that you remember from your childhood?
Okay, I actually have a very interesting story. Funny enough, I write about it in the book. I don't know if you remember, because you read my book 10 years ago.
I can remember. It's for.
Yes, I know. Yeah. I like how you like, but it's for. And then. Yeah. So, my very first and amazing and memorable encounter with money was when it was my aunt's wedding. And I was not made a flower girl. And when they went to take pictures, but some of the picture go Polokwane gardens. Yeah, it's beautiful. If you were married in Polokwane and you don't go take your pictures there, your wedding was not complete. It was a very significant landmark, man. People loved it. Yeah. And you find that brides are waiting in line to pose lady groomsmen and bridesmaids, lady stories are on. But anyway, I was left at the hall, and while they went to take pictures, and there was a DJ playing music, and Sipho Sticks Mabuse's Burnout came on. It was still a very brand new song, and it was so cool. But go high. When the song is nice, they keep playing it and playing it and playing it. And this guy got on stage and he started dancing. And eventually, long story short, I ended up dancing on stage. And then people started throwing money at me on the stage. At the time, the 1 rand coin was this big. Then the 50 cent, the 2 rand was a note, the blue note, the purple 5 rand, all of that. It was amazing. And I remember I put money inside of my dress. And that's when I actually realized that I can actually do what I like. And if I'm really, really good at it and I excel at it, someone will be willing to pay for it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And then from home, did your parents ever have conversations with you about money? I guess I can't look in because you're not in my age limit, but from the olden days, the parents need to. So
no,
I just want to know,
that is true.
Did you ever have those conversations?
That is true.
Yeah.
In fact, back in the day, as we said, when we talk about money, the only time when we talk about money is when someone says, you want new shoes? You need new books. You want this, you want. So there's always but then it also got to the point where they say, if you want something, I want something in particular, I need to learn to deprive myself of some of the things so that I can get that one thing that I want. In a way, you're saving. And we used to have piggy banks, and then we put money, a little teeny, goody, and all of that.
Right.
And it was so nice that, when the tin is full, you can actually realize that I actually saved all this money.
Yeah.
So, and I know that most of us, when we were growing up, we didn't have a proper healthy relationship with money, and we are learning in the later years, okay, you need to save money, you need to have a buffer. The worst, you don't need to get into debt. That's even the worst, because you're 18, you've got an ID book, and all of a sudden you can actually open an account. And it was so nice, opening an account, taking clothes for free. Then you realize, no, it's actually not for free. You have to eventually pay for it. Then you're blacklisted, you've got bad debt. No, you can't apply for this, you can't apply for that. They're busy calling you, phoning you, sending you letters of demand.
Well, people are those letters they used to send us. They used to send us a blue letter. Yes. When it comes, if it blue, I think blue,
no, they start white. White is nice and friendly.
White was friendly, and then
blue was like,
and then red.
Red is like you are going to jail.
Everybody was kind.
And it was so embarrassing when the letters came, and then the postman is holding them, and they're all red and blue. Oh gosh,
it's a sign.
Yeah.
And I just love how, I mean, I used to be in debt at some point.
Yeah.
When I got a red letter, you would put it in the bin and think that the debt would
go away.
It would disappear, but the debt would
they
still
come
be
back
there.
to you.
Yeah.
It's like even when they call you now, you look like, I'm not answering.
Yeah. No, but
I don't answer the 087 numbers.
I will answer, and even answer for everything, So how would you then maybe just from that, as you were growing up, when did you learn the skill to manage money? Or how did you, or we taught it by default, besides the piggy banks?
Yeah, I think it was more by default. And then also some of the financial lessons were learned on the go.
Okay.
And some of them, they came from the mistakes that you make. I mean, I think but I don't know if a lot of people know. I've spoken about it, but I was bankrupt twice. Twice. Where the first time we managed to gather, last minute, and then God came through, a miracle happened, and we did. But then the second time around, we were not as lucky. We lost our house. It was auctioned, and it was ridiculous, And then you need to go back. I was never the one to be excited about debt, but in my line of work, there are then some days, because we are freelancers, the days on the first month, there's month one, you get paid a certain amount. Then you wait for another 6 months to get paid another big amount, maybe. And sometimes by the time the big amounts come, so much damage has been done. So now I had to start foreseeing and planning ahead and knowing, okay, what is it that I can live without? And what is it that I really, really need? And then, but not forgetting to reward yourself one way or another, because when you don't reward yourself, you start resenting your money. Like how when your money goes in, it passes like a Japanese train. It goes like I was here, God. And then before you even open your phone, before you open the app, before you check the bank, guess what? The debit orders have taken everything, the credit cards, and I ended up having to teach myself a particular principle, which is basic, and I think a lot of people use it. If I can't afford it right now, if I can't pay it with this money, then that means I can't afford it.
Right.
That means I can't take it on debt. And the worst kid is sale. Was about 80% off and all of that. And you end up buying such ugly things because they're cheap. So
things you don't need.
So every time when there's a sale, if I walk into a store and there's a sale or whatever, I look at it, I'm like, okay, fine. So if this was not on sale and it was the right price, would I still buy it? And if the answer is no, then that means even with the sale price, I don't need it. so I can't buy it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe let's go back to the first time when you went bankrupt, right?
Yeah.
One would think that, okay, you let bankrupt the first time, I'll avoid it the second time.
Mm-hmm.
What were just some of those things that, entrapped you or that you found difficult, or maybe what that were challenges for it? Uske waithola uli out of the first situation. What led you to being bankrupt again for the second time?
Yeah, I think, okay, the first time it was, I got married in 2001, right? And I think it was around 2006-ish, no, 2005. We bought a house, and both of us were freelance artists. And there are days where you've got double income, there are days where you've got one, then there are days where we're both looking at each other.
Yes.
So when you can't zero. I understand that. And but eventually it also got to that, and also demands, the kids have to go to school. You need to do this, you need to do that. We just moved into a place, now you're paying a bond, you're paying electricity, your utility services and all of that. And eventually it got to a point where we realized that we couldn't actually afford our lifestyle, even though it wasn't even no, not at all. I mean, I've never been a glamorous person. I mean, even now. But and I remember that first house was supposed to be sold or auctioned off. No, auctioned off. And the auction was on Monday. And we still put the house on the market. The auction was going to be on the Monday. And the Friday before that Monday, we managed to sell it.
Wow.
A whole 2 days
before.
Away.
Yeah.
2 days before. Yeah. And that was such an amazing miracle. And we made some money, we made profit, we were in Pretoria. And then we decided, okay, fine, let's now start all over again. Let's go. We then moved to Johannesburg permanently. Because even though I was in and out of Johannesburg, I've been in Joburg since 1993.
Sure.
Yeah. And then there was a time that I lived in Pretoria. Then I came back to Joburg because work was just here. I could actually walk to work. But then different pressures. But also I think when you are not in sync as partners or as spouses, a lot of mistakes happen, when you realize that, okay, one of you has 3 credit cards that we didn't know about, and now the banks, they want their money. There's a lot of, oh no, I was gonna pay that. Now you didn't pay that, and then we just started accumulating unnecessary and stupid debt, and having to go back to try and pay that. Next thing, we are no longer working. We're sitting at home. You're trying to hustle. You're doing this, you're doing that. We're not sleeping 2-3 hours a day because we're trying to juggle and juggle and juggle. But eventually it caught up with us to the point where we had to let everything go and start from the beginning. Again.
Sure.
Okay, that's
it must have been painful.
Yeah, it was.
But I think for me, what I love about your story is that failure is never fatal.
No, never.
In failure, there are lessons. And if you look at it from that perspective, you are able to pick up, okay, these were the first few mistakes we made. The second time around, these are the mistakes that you've made. And now when you do it the third time around, you do it better. So I think it's a message for somebody that's going through that right now to say, failure is not fatal. It's not the end of the world. You fail forward, right? You start again. You pick yourself up. You take the lessons. You implement them, and you move forward.
Yeah.
So, Also, you used to tell a story. You told me a story about how when you were trying to survive, some of the things that you used to do. People look at you and they think everything is right. And sometimes when people are going through the most, they become so paralyzed that they don't think of doing things outside of
Yeah.
things. What are some of the things that you did just to try and survive and to
Yeah, I did a lot. I think since I was an actress and I was a singer, I was performing, but I had to diversify. Okay, I've always been a voiceover artist for adverts on radio, but I remember one of the jobs that I did, the telephone directory. When we used to have telephone directory, see, people they don't know the yellow pages. They don't know. They know Google. They don't know where we come from. Yellow pages. Let your fingers do the walking. Through the yellow pages.
Yeah.
So we had the yellow pages and then we had the actual directory. But now in the actual directory, when you open, there's a huge chunk of index and it's in all languages. And then it's giving you all the annexes, the abbreviations, the acronyms of different things, how to dial this, police, hospital, all of that. Then, I had to do all of that in Sepedi. Actually translated the English version of the directory. So if you have a directory in your house still, the telecom directory, the Sepedi version, I wrote that. I had to translate that.
Wow.
And I also started baking. I opened a mini bakery at my house. I would bake any form of bread you can think of. I would make magwenya in the morning, wake up in the morning, magwenya, box them nicely before I would go to work and shoot. What was I not selling? What was I not doing? Then I started writing. I was transcribing adverts, translating adverts. Anything sellable and doable, I was doing it. And funny enough, in hindsight, those are the kind of hustles that prepared me to actually be able to diversify and do other things. And then I started doing creative concepts, creative conceptualizing. I do a lot of entertainment law, even though I'm not a lawyer. I know how to, if someone gets stuck with their contract and they're like, I don't understand this clause, I'm like, okay, fine, this is what you're going to do. So a lot of people, they come before they sign, they're like, can you look at my contract? Like, no, don't do this. They're not gonna ask for this, ask for that, ask for that. And I do that.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, the lesson that I'm getting from that is that when you are backed up in a corner, don't sit there and wait to die. Think about what's that you have in your hand.
Yes, exactly.
Right? And you have hands, you have a mind.
A full able body.
I have such a deep appreciation for the ladies and gentlemen bakibabona body roboting, but it's cakes.
Exactly.
Because you know what? They've realized, Tori, nobody's coming to save me and give me employment. Let me do something. If I can get flour in, let me try. And I don't eat cakes per se, but I do buy. Because I feel, let me buy.
You are supporting,
so that we encourage that. So I think for someone that's watching, because a lot of people are waiting for somebody to come and rescue them. Nobody's coming. Use what you have. And start somewhere and do something and get yourself. I mean, look at the diversification. I love it because...
And I've been catered, by the way. And cooking. Well, sometimes I still do cook. Where someone's like, okay, I don't have time to cook. Please, can you cook this and this? Because people have tasted my food. I was an amazing cook until my daughter became a chef. So now we don't cook anymore. We're just drunk. Because she's such a show off. The things that she does with the food and she's amazing. She graduated top of her class. But anyway, so we also have a passion of cooking. So some people will be like, okay, on such and such a day, I'm hosting 10 people at my house. I'm hosting 6 people at my house. Can you please make me some oxtail with ombolo? The 7 color stuff of South Africa. Our nice, savory and wholesome foods. Yeah.
Okay.
So do all of that.
Yeah, I like that diversification part in terms of skill and doing things for survival to make money, but also in the
I used to braid hair as well.
Wow.
I used to braid hair. I would make singles, and then and dreadlocks as well. Sure. And okay, I did so many things. Every time, as you're talking, I remember what else I've done. I always remember what else I've done. I mean, what have I not done? Sure. I don't know what I haven't done. It's so inspirational. It's inspiring somebody that's watching. And I mean, even in the investing space, we talk about diversification. True. Not having your eggs in one basket. In case the basket drops, then the eggs often are their chocolate. Yeah. So I think it's so important to be multi-skilled. But even investing, put your money in different asset classes. That's one of the big lessons that we always try and talk about. Now, industry, I mean, you have to audition for roles. Yes. And sometimes you don't get roles. And as you've already alluded to the fact that sometimes ukasebenza maybe for a year and not work for 2 years. How has that, contributed to you being savvy about money? I remember, everyone knows this lady. Grace Mahlaba. She used to be Ibelem on backstage. Oh, yes, yes. When we were in backstage back in the day, and because there she was a single mother of 2. I was a single mother as well at the time of 2. And I was asking her, how does she cope? How is she managing? And she said, she got to a place where she had to save her salary up to 6 months. So 6 months of her salary must be there untouched as a buffer. Yes. For days or for months where there is no work. Right. And it wasn't like a huge, deep conversation, but I ran with that. Right. I ran with that. But I've had moments where the 6 months runs, you are buffered for 6 months while you're looking. Eventually the money finishes because you haven't gotten anything. But I still appreciate those times because I could have been out in the cold in February, but in June I'm still there. I kind of lasted a bit. Yeah. So it is that peace of mind. And when we talk about investment, I was laughing and saying it's difficult for freelance artists to invest because right now, as soon as you get a lump sum of money, you start back paying. You start back paying just so that you can be current. Yeah. And by the time you are current, now you're just basically barely making it, going hand to mouth. But then, even if it's like 10 rand, put it away. Yeah. And I think it's not the lesson here is not about how much money you have put away. It's the principle of just putting something away. I like that. Yeah. I mean, that's one thing that I preach. I think anyone that watches this podcast will allude to the fact that I always say it's not about the amount. Yeah. It is about inculcating that culture. Yes. No matter how tight things are, I'll take 50 rands and put it away. Yeah. Because 50 plus 50. It's 100. And then it increments. Absolutely. And actually, as you see it growing, you get so excited. It is exciting. Oh my goodness, even in these tight situations, this is what I've done. Yeah. And so I think it's just about someone changing their mindset, changing about how they think and saying, wait a king, I've been there, I got burnt. This time around, I'm going to do something different, Yeah. And it's something that I share a lot about in my book. At the title, I think, which someone had told me, Money Wisdom Nuggets, that 10 major financial mistakes into golden milestones. And to just say that
even when you've made the mistakes, you can correct them.
Absolutely.
You know, yeah.
Absolutely.
So even for those who are self-employed,
Yeah.
not just in the industry,
Everywhere.
every
Yeah.
industry where you are creating your own income,
You need to sustain yourself.
Sustain yourself. At least save 6 months.
Yeah.
Simlet, I hope you are listening to us while you're sitting there, because.
And you know what? And some days it's not going to be 6 months, but
Yeah.
it's just cultivating that culture.
Yeah.
You know, there are days where you say to me, "Give me 50 rand." I'll give you a very dirty look because I don't have it.
Yeah.
You know, and then there are days where things are like blooming, but when things are blooming, that's when you remember that we always have the dips, the ups and the downs, the ups and the downs, and it's not just about financial freedom. Right now, do I have debt? Yes. But do I have peace? You know, you buy peace with those kind of investments. Because everywhere, when this whole thing, when your phone is ringing, you're like, yo, you can't even answer. Someone just wants to wish you a happy birthday.
Yeah.
But you don't know who it is.
Yeah.
Because it might just be the creditors calling you.
Yeah.
So it gives you financial freedom is such a big currency. And when I say financial freedom, I'm not just talking about someone who owes nobody nothing.
Yeah.
But it is when you've cultivated different cultures. And or even when I'm sitting at home, right now I might be down, but I know there are other prospects that are coming. There's something to look forward to.
Yes.
It is good for your health. Because being in such debt, you get to a fright. You're always scared. Then when you're scared, you start getting panic attacks, hypertension, jiki, you have stroke.
Exactly.
Like you never have the peace of mind. Your hair starts falling out, your skin starts getting pimples. You become unhealthy, you become unhappy. And on top of that, you don't even have the money.
Right.
That is why people who know their little bracket, irrespective of the LSM or their tax bracket, they're just people who are content.
Yeah.
And happy, and they know now at the end of the month, only 5,000 is coming my way.
Yeah.
And with that 5,000, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And they do it well. You'll be sitting here grumpy with millions.
Yeah.
And the currency on top of your head. Grumpy and more grumpier than someone who has never seen 4 zeros in their bank account. And you wonder, why are they so happy?
Exactly.
Because they managed to nail that nugget.
Yeah.
What I'm going to do with what I have.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going to work with
Yeah.
and work on. And if I move from this one to that one and upgrade, there are certain upgrades that will come to that bracket. But until we get there, we're going to operate with here. And even for us, especially entertainers, we sell such a falsified lifestyle. Right now you see this suit that I'm wearing. I'm wearing Funduzi.
Yes.
By Craig Jacobs. This suit is free.
Yeah.
I didn't buy it. The suit is free. I didn't buy it because I've got a trade exchange agreement with the designer, right?
And then
why and then you don't have you don't have all those kind of things.
Right.
So and I like this, I appreciate this, because relationships as well, for me, that is very, very high currency. I've got a lady who does my hair, Tumelo MJ Afro Boutique. I walk in the salon, they do my hair. When I'm on the red carpet, people see different hairstyles. They see how my hair has been growing, how well I've been taking care of it. And for her as well, she gets more, more clients.
Yeah.
So there's like investment in trade.
Yes,
yes, and the brand is being put out there. So I also feel that a lot of people who are in the space, especially the entertainment area, the public space platforms, they need to also invest in relationships with other people so that we can all win. Right. Sometimes it is not just about the actual cash money. I will do something for you, and in return, there is something else that you can do. Sometimes not even for me, but for Simlet, and Simlet will do something for someone. So we end up being a network of people that are helping each other build different brands, and easily so without kohamiwa.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
so.
I think, Rami, you've mentioned something so important about relationships. That relationships kids are not so and the opportunity.
Yes.
By the way, I only got to know you closer through Mpo.
Yes.
Had I not met you at Mpo's home,
Yes.
I wouldn't have known you. So shout out to Mpo Mlepo.
Yes, shout out to
to Rami, and look at where we are today. And it's just through relationships.
Yeah.
I was sharing with someone this morning, for relationships are not just about money as well. There's a gentleman, Dr. Frank Magwegwe. He likes to invite me to come and do his MBA class.
Yeah.
That was conventional. Yeah, and he calls me to come, as a guest lecturer. And I don't charge him anything because it's about relationship building.
Yes.
But if you only knew the things that I've gotten out of that, yes, just doing that,
Absolutely.
So I think for people that are watching, there are relationships that will open doors for you.
Totally.
And it's good to build those great relationships. I wouldn't be sitting with you here. You'd be so far off.
How can I get hold of it?
And
let's speak to my manager.
Exactly. and I remember even when I was at my former employer, before I retired, I remember we did a road show. We went to all the campuses across the country, just sharing your story and inspiring people. And I think there are so many more that will watch and that will remember that and will be inspired. So as we draw to a close of this conversation, I think you've dropped so many wisdom nuggets, because I think Rebola was to the Instagram life, I liked how to work the fact that, whenever you were, I remember you shared with me, or sometimes though you'll go to this one, and we shoot maybe got 10 outfits.
Yes.
And then yasala.
Yes.
And then I also post them on Instagram.
Yes.
If now I'm following you blindly, I'm like, yes. You find yourself overstretched.
Can I tell you a quick story? I got that wisdom nugget.
Yeah.
I got from the amazing Kanyimbao.
Wow.
Kanyimbao said to me one day, you know when we are acting and we've got beautiful makeup, a proper face beat, man.
Yes.
And then you're looking at it, go like, so I must go home and wash. Kanyara, you do not do that. You get home, you take out your clothes, different outfits.
Okay.
Borrowed, yours, whatever, and you take pictures. Outfit number 1, outfit number 2.
The face beat.
Okay. You can change the lipstick.
Okay.
You can change jewelry. You're changing the outfits. And then, and she would tell me that sometimes, even when she posts, she's posting in bed. And when I'm thinking, where she is. And she's like sleeping, no makeup and everything, because you cannot let a good face beat go to waste like that, And it's even better if you
because I always come back when I have a face beat.
You're like,
and then
how do I use it? Hey, before we come back, take out a few outfits. You take pictures from that side of the house, from this room, from the kitchen, from what, and then the whole month you've got a series of things that you're posting without you having to be heavily involved. When Kanye told me that, I ran with it. I was like, that's the one.
Wow.
And also building relationship. For instance, I'm wearing this outfit Funduzi because of Tula Cindy. Tula now has a store, Africa Rise. And I said, and Tula, 20 years later or so, I still wear Tula because Tula is one of the first designers that when I was starting out, he was like, no, I'll dress you. And I was like, you know what, when I get properly famous, I'm not going to turn my back on Tula.
Yes.
I've got people that I consistently wear. I would wear Tula Cindy, I would wear Tommy Ricordo. Right now, there's another one, his name is King Endumiso. It's called King Collection. I just did a recording last week wearing his outfit. I wear earrings from Ditala. You know, I build those relationships.
Yeah.
So I take everyone with me. There was also Rubicon Hangwani, you know, and those are the people that when we go, and there was a time, I mean, I've got so many pairs of batu, for instance. You know, and then I've got, yes, and then I've got,
Theo.
yes,
Shout out to
and I love South African brands. I've got a Rich Munisi, and now one of my beautiful friends got me a Maxxosa scarf.
Wow.
You know, my cupboard is just South African designers from top to bottom.
Yeah.
And that is so inspiring. And imagine that kind of network, the revenue that sits within all of us, that we can actually push each and every one of us forward, and use that relationship currency to actually have the actual financial currency.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much, Rami, for sharing that. Get like a great shopping.
Yes,
I'm on a
please.
quest to lose weight. So
yes, and if you're over 50, if you're over 50,
right,
you can actually go to Africa Rise and tell them that because Rami has been celebrating her 50th birthday, and then you're also 50, they can give you a little discount on whatever it is that you're buying.
Oh wow, there you have it. Ali bona fela episode
Go Africa Rise.
Only over 50 matter.
Yeah, especially if you're 50. If you're turning 50 in 2025 and 2026, I shame. That is even better discount. And then anywhere else they'll tell you which one. I don't know.
Look at this relationship that's opening opportunities of savings.
And even at Afro Boutique, they are giving discounts.
Abasatola free
marketing. Hey, let's close the conversation. But people must get my book.
Sure.
Guys. Because the Sun and Embrace the book. You can find it go Bula Buka or SA Books Online. You can get an ebook and give it a few weeks. You'll be able to also get an audiobook.
Okay, so normally when we close off the podcast, I always ask my guests to drop a nugget of wisdom that people can watch and forget everything, Mara. What you say now will lodge in their subconscious mind and they'll always remember it. You know, on Saturday, I was facilitating a financial talk, and one of the panelists, who is an attorney and an acting judge, she said something, and I get that she dropped. She said, ignorance of the law is not an excuse. So I want something like that. And then idule. But how popular episode? Everything but popular. Rami said this about women, money, and financial stewardship.
What a difficult. Now that because I've just been talking, I'm like, what's that one thing? But when you're like, I'm looking for a bomb. I can't even think of a good bomb right now. But all I can say is that. Now I'm gonna sound like I'm preaching.
No, preach. Preach on, sister.
You know, there's a time when Moses had to go and lead the children of Israelites out of Egypt. And he was having a conversation or a mini argument with God, saying, I have absolutely nothing. I don't know how I'm going to convince this man to let go of these people. And then a question was asked, I even start, why me? Why me? You know? And then God asked Mohoro, what is it that you have in your hand? You know? So I think people need, before they even go look outside, look, what is it that you have in your hand? That you know that should you start something, it can be well established. It's not a mistake that God said He will bless the works of your hands. He will establish the works of your hands. So what is it that you have in your hand that can move you from the situation that you're in and elevate you to somewhere else? But if you do not start with what you have, it doesn't matter what anybody gives you. You will never be able to make it multiply and work for you. So check what is it that's in your hand and make use of that.
There you have it. What's that you have in your hand? And only the works of your hands will be blessed. With that, I'd like to say thank you so much, Rami, for this amazing time
Thank
that
you.
we've had chatting. And I hope that these wisdom nuggets that you've shared, somebody watching will take one or two and implement.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Sure.
It's been lovely. Please
Yeah.
watch episode 37.
Yes.
It is good.